Hey friends, I am so excited about our lesson today. Today we get to talk about tools. Now specifically, we're going to talk about the tools of a scientist, the tools that they use to explore our world. But before we start, I just want to talk about what tools actually are. So tools are different than toys. A toy is something that you play with. A tool is something that you need to get a job done. And everybody has different tools depending on the type of job that they need to do. For example, I'm a teacher, so I have much different tools than someone who needs to build a house or a doctor, okay? So I wanted to show you a couple of tools. First of all, as a teacher, I use this a lot. I use this to make packets. I use this to put papers together or to make my bulletin board outside of my room. This is a stapler. This is a tool. It's not a toy. I don't play with it, but I use it to get work done. This is also a tool. It's just a pen, but it's something that I need to do my job. I use it to grade papers. I use it to put names on things. I use it in my planner when I am making lessons for you. I use my pens all the time. I can never have enough of them. I wanted to show you a different kind of tool. This is something you may be more familiar with. This is called a screwdriver. Okay, screwdrivers are needed when we have something that we need to unscrew. So it would be a little metal screw, and you would put this in the screw and twist to get it to come out. Sometimes your toys might actually have some screws on the back. See if you can find one today. So if you ever needed to change the batteries, you would need a screwdriver to get the batteries out to replace them so that your toy would work again. Okay, so those are a few tools that we use for teaching, some tools that a construction worker might use, or a mechanic, or a plumber, okay? Sometimes people need screwdrivers. Your mom and dad can use screwdrivers too. But today we're going to talk about tools that we use in science. You're going to hear a lot of big words today, but I know that you're really smart, so you are going to love learning about our science tools. Are you ready to use science tools in the science lab? So we're pretending we're in the science lab today. As you work, use a pencil to write down what you learn. If you want to do that, you're more than welcome to, or you can just listen. A hand lens makes small things look better. So we can call this a hand lens, or we can call it a magnifying glass. You might remember that from our book, What is Science? If it is very tiny, use a microscope to look at it. Remember last week when we talked about germs and we talked about how tiny the germs are and how we can't see them with just our eye? We need a microscope to see germs or to see something very, very tiny. So microscopes have really powerful lenses. Now let me show you what I mean by a lens. I'm sure you've seen something like this before. These are glasses. Now right here, this is called the lens, the part that I look through. I'm going to put my glasses on. The lenses help me see things more clearly, and sometimes they can make them look bigger when they're on a machine like a microscope. A camera takes pictures of what you see. I'm sure you guys have all seen a camera before, but now most of us just have cameras on our phones. Use a ruler to measure how long something is. So that wooden stick in the boy's hand, that is a ruler. A scale shows how much something weighs. Your parents might have one of those in the kitchen that they use when they cook. Because when you cook, you have to be very precise, very exact in how much you put into your recipe. Measure liquid in a beaker. A beaker is just a big glass jar that has numbers on it so that we can measure how much liquid we are putting in. A timer counts down time. If you're in my class, then you know that I use a timer to tell you when to come back from your break. Science tools make the work easier. So now I want you to think about these questions that you've learned now that you've learned about tools. How do tools help you in science? Why would you need to use a microscope? And if you were a scientist, what tools would you need? I also want you to do this. I want you to find out what your mom or dad does for their job, and I want you to ask them what some of the tools are that they use every day to get their job done. I hope you had a really fun day being a scientist with me. Have a great day.